Okay, so today we're going to go over our progress check review, and I want to make sure you know how to solve these because it's going to be on our test. So number one, find the area of each parallelogram. Well, if you remember the formula for finding the area of a parallelogram, it is, let's get in our drawing. Okay, I like pink, so I'm going to write in pink. Formula for area is base times height. So in this case, they tell me that my base is going to be 9 right there, and my height is going to be 4. So in box A, I'm going to say base times height equals area. And now I'm just going to plug in the numbers. My base was 9 times 4 will equal my area. And my area is going to be 9 times 4. That's 36. And remember, we can't just answer a problem with just a number. We would lose points. So we have to put the units of measurement. 36 centimeters squared. And you know what? I'm going to circle my answer. Same thing for letter B. If this is my base and 4 is my height, I only need to multiply those two numbers. Base times height equals A. I'm going to plug in the numbers I am substituting for each letter. So 5 was for base and 4 was for height. Now 5 times 4 is 20. Remember, we can't leave our answer without units of measurement, so we have to put centimeters. And still, that's not enough. We have to put squared because that tells us we found the area of the object. In this case, my base was 6, and they're telling me that my height was 15. So I'm going to actually write them in. So base is 6, and height is 15. So again, I'm going to rewrite the formula. Base times height equals area. Base, height, area. Base is 6. Height is 15. 6 times 15. Now, if I broke down 15, I would have 10 and 5. And I'm going to multiply each part by 6. And so 6. Oh, I can't write over there. Okay, all right. So 60 plus 30, right? Because 10 times 6 is 60 and 5 times 6 is 30. We're going to add them up. We're going to get 90. So then we're going to say 90 is my answer, and it is 90 centimeters squared. All right, let's scroll down. Ooh, too far. Decompose and arrange this parallelogram to make a rectangle. So I'm going to switch to black, and I am going to cut this part. I'm going to cut this triangle. I'm going to take this piece, and I'm going to move it right there. So this was 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to go right up to the point, and I'm going to rewrite my parallelogram. I moved it. So now I'm only looking at it as, oh, look at this. So now this is my new shape. And I can easily find the area of, a parallelogram because I've now turned it into a rectangle. You see a rectangle? I just moved this shape over here. I moved it. It's gotten moved. So now it's in the shape of a rectangle. My base is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's my base. And my height, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My height is going to be 5. And so the area of the parallelogram is, am I allowed to type on here? Yeah. So I'll do this on the side. Remember, area Oops, undo, eraser, draw. So in order to find the area, we've got to do base times height equals area. So my base is 9. My height is 5. 9 times 5 is 45. Okay, so I'm going to get 45 units squared because I don't see centimeters, inches. I'm just going to name it units, and that's why it's a U. And now I'm going to type in my comment. Text box. Okay. Will it let me type? Okay. The area of the parallelogram is 45 units squared. I found first, so let's break it down. First I cut off or decomposed the parallelogram and moved the right triangle on the left side and moved it to the right side of the parallelogram. That turned the parallelogram into a rectangle. I then found the base. The base was 9 and the height equaled, what was the height? The height was 5. I then multiplied base times height. 9 times 5 equals 45 units squared. That's what I did. All right. Be sure to show your work. Find the area of each problem or each figure below. Okay, so again, we're going to do base times height. So my base, let's get my drawing out. Let's go back to that. My base, well, it's a rectangle. So actually, technically, you could do base times height. But when we have a rectangle, we can do, where's my eraser? We can do length times width, which is the same thing. But since it's not tricky, we can do length times width. My length is 1, 2, 3, 4. My width is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to do length times width and plug in those numbers. 4 goes with L, and 6 goes with W. And 6 times 4 is 24 units. I'll even write it. I'll write it out. Units squared. I'm going to circle my answer. For letter B, my base is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And my height is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So 3 is my height. Base times height equals area. My base was 5 and my height was 3. So I wanted to get 15 units squared. Perfect. Over here, this is going to be my base. Base is 2. 1, 2. My height, though, I'm going to say, so remember I told some people, my uncle, sometimes he falls a lot. And he fell off. He looked over the edge. So my height is 1, 2, 3. Height is 3. So over here, we're going to say that for letter C, again, I'm going to write B times H equals 8. and I'm going to plug in the numbers I have. I have 2 for B, and I have 3 for H. 2 times 3 is 6. That's my area, and it's going to be units squared. Then for letter D, I don't like having a base on the side, so I'm going to make my base right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is my base, so I'm looking at it sideways. And my height is going to be 1, 2, 2. Let's do height. Boom, boom. Remember, we've got to make perpendicular lines with our base. So if our base is like this, our height has to be perpendicular to it. And so that's going to be 2. So my height is 2. So again, base times height. My base was 4 times my height was 2. My answer is 8 units squared. All right. Let's scroll down. Which parallelogram has an area of 4 units? So remember, if 40 units. So now they've put 3 numbers in each of them. So for A, let's see. What's my base? And remember, it's got to equal 40. So that's for all of them. Base times height. It's got to equal 40. So I'm just going to fill out my chart so that I can easily plug in numbers for the base and the height, because we have to get 40 as our answer. So let's look at A. What's my base for A? So my base, if this is my base, right? If that's my straight line, I have to make a perpendicular line. And that looks like that gives me the height. Yeah, so if that's my height, so base is 4, height is 10, and that equals 40. That is true. That works. So which A works, I'm going to circle it. For letter B, my base looks like, I'm going to say that 4 is my base. So that means 20 is my height. So let's plug it in. For B, I said 4. For height, I said 20. And 4 times 20, or 4 times 2 is 8. 80. So B does not work. Remember, it's a parallelogram. We're not cutting it in half. We should have just gotten 40. So if we look at C, I'm going to make 8 my base, and I'm going to make 10 my height. So let's plug them in. We said 8 went for B, and now we're going to plug in 10 for height. 8 times 10 is 80. Oh, no, it does not work. And then for letter D, it looks like 16 is my base. And it looks like 5 is my height. So let's plug them in. We get 16 for B, and 16 times 4. I'm going to tell you what, I know 6 times 4 is 24. It's probably not equal to 40, but I'll solve it anyways. So remember, 16 can be broken up into 10 plus 6, right? So then if you think about it like that, let me erase. 10 times, and we multiply by the same number. 10 times 4 is 40, so that's definitely not working. And 6 times 4 is 24, so 40 plus 24 equals 64, so that does not work. So the only answer that got an area of 40 was A. Which parallelogram has an area of 4 units, 40 square units? And the only answer was A. Okay, number 5, select all triangles that have an area of 8 square units. Okay, so now we got to remember the formula for a triangle. There's two ways. One way could be a half times base times height. That's one way. The other way, you could do base times height. Don't forget to put it in parentheses, but then we're going to divide it by 2. Either way is correct. I personally like this way, but the other way will work as well. So for our triangle, my base for A is 1, 2, 3, 4. Base is 4. Height is 1, 2, 3, 4. Height equals 4. Okay, so again, I'm going to plug our formula. I'm going to do 4 times 4 divided by 2. 16 over 2 becomes 16 divided by 2. Ooh, that's not good. Eraser. Drawing. Okay, so 16 divided by 2 equals 8 units squared. So guess what? A works. A gave us an answer of 8. Let's go to B. What's my base? Actually, I'm going to label my base. That's going to be my base for C. That's going to be my base for D. And I'm going to make that side my base for E. For B, my base is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And my height is going to go from right at the top down here. So I made a right angle and I get 1, 2, 3, 4 is my height. Height is 4. And again, I think we're going to get the same answer. 16 over 2 is really 16 divided by 2, which becomes 8 units squared. B works. Circle my answer. So A works, B works. For C, my base is 1, 2, 3. 3. And my height, I'm going to go right here at the tip. And I made perpendicular lines, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is my height. So again, I'm going to plug in my answers. For my base, I got 3. For my height, I got 5. 15 over 2 is 15 divided by 2, which is going to give me a decimal. I'm going to get 7.5 or 7.5 units squared. C does not work. It does not give me an answer of 8. For this one, for letter D, my base is 1, 2, 3, 4. Why did it do that? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Base is 4. Height, I'm going to go to the top and I'm going to go straight down. Okay, and I made perpendicular lines, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Height is 4. Okay, let's scroll down a little bit. So again, base was 4. Height was 4. I think it's going to work. 16 over 2. 16 divided by 2 is going to give us 8 units squared. D works. For letter E, my base is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because remember, we're going to the corner for our base. And my height, if I go to the other one and I go straight down, my height is 2. So 2 equals my height. So I have 8 times 2 divided by 2. 8 times 2 is 16. Yes, it works. 16 divided by 2 is 8 units squared. So D works, E works. The only one that didn't work was C. So C did not work. C gave us 7.5 units squared. Practice problems. Select all the triangles that have an area of 15 units. Okay, so remember, I'm just going to label my base and my height. I'm going to say that 10 is my base and 3 is my height. Over here for letter B, I'm going to say that 5 is my base and 3 is my height. For letter C, I'm going to say 6 is my, I'll say 5 is my base. 5 is my base and 6 is my height. Over here, 5 is my base and 4.2 is my height. Over here, 6 is going to be my base and 2 is going to be my height. So now that I have all of that figured out, I can solve all of these triangles that have an area of 15 units, 15 square units. So for letter A, base was 10, height was 3. And so 30 divided by 2 equals 15 units squared. So that works. A works. For letter B, base was 5, height was 3. It's not going to work because I get 15 divided by 2. And we saw up above, my eraser, we saw that 15 divided by 2 is 7.5 units squared. And that is not 15. So B is out. For letter C, my base I said was 5. My height was 6. I think this will work because 5 times 6 is 30, and 30 divided by 2 is 15 units squared. Good job. C works. Okay, for letter D, my base was 5 times 4.2. Divided by 2. 5 times 4.2. So I'm going to multiply those. 21. So it's 21 point. That's just not going to work. 21 divided by 2. Well, I know 20 divided by 2 is 10, and 22 divided by 2 is 11. So 21 divided by 2 has got to be 10.5 units squared. So it looks like D is out. That does not work. I'm always circling my answers, even though it's wrong, so my teacher can see exactly where my answer is. Okay, and for letter E, we said base was 6. We said height was 2. I don't know what's going to work. 6 times 2 is 12, and 12 divided by 2 is 6 units squared. That does not work. It's out. So E's out. So your only options were A and C. A and C were the only ones that worked for those. Find the area of the given figure. I'm going to break it apart. So here's the area for the rectangle in the middle. The rectangle in the middle would be 3 times 2, which is, and actually, I can just write 6. I know it's 6. I just counted it. I mean, we don't like to do that, but if I did 2 times 3, I would get 6. So rectangle base was 3, height was 2. Oh my goodness. Let's try it again. 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, and then for one of the triangles, my base, let's see. My base is going to be this. That's going to be my base. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So triangle 1. My base My base is 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. And my height, what's my height for my triangle? If I go to the tip, 1, 2. So my height was 2 divided by 2. So we get 8 over 2. And 8 divided by 2 is 4. So 6 was the area for the rectangle. 4 was the area for triangle 1. And I'm going to guess that the other triangle is going to be the same. So triangle 2 is also 4. Triangle 2, the area is also 4 because they look completely identical, right? And I'll prove it to you. I don't even need to solve it because if you look here, my base is 1, 2, 3, 4, and my height is 1, 2. It's going to be the same. So we got 6 plus 4 plus 4. The area is going to be 14. Oh, did I divide it in half? Yes, I did. So 4 plus 6 plus 4 is going to equal 14 units squared. Find the area of each given figure. So, oh, okay, we could do something a little bit different. Okay, so that's there. Okay. I'm going to find the area as if it was a rectangle. And then I'm going to find the area of these white triangles, and I'm going to subtract it from the total. So let me erase that real quick. First of all, if they weren't missing pieces, I would say, okay, my base is what, and my height is what? Base is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's my base. My height is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we did base times height. 6 times 5 is 30. So 30 is my answer, right? Not so fast. Remember, they don't want us to count. Do I have a highlighter tool? Do I have a drawing tool, comment, markup? Is this a highlighter? There's a highlighter. All right, so I want to, that's too light. Let's pick pink. Okay, so I need to find the area of this triangle, and I guarantee that it's the same over here. Looks like a Barbie triangle. All right, drawing. So if I want to find the area of this triangle, my base is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to say, I'm going to draw a line. We'll come back to this in a second. So triangle 1, the base times the height. All right, so the base was 6. The height, we go to this top right here, 1, 2. So my height was 2. Remember, divided by 2. So it's 12. Oof. 12 divided by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So 6 is the area for this triangle. I guarantee it's the same up top. Let's see. Is my base 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 6 was my base. And is 2 my height? I go from the corner. 1, 2. Yes. So it's going to be the same. So if the area for each triangle, actually, let's erase it a little bit. It's kind of messy. If the area for each triangle is 6, right? And we originally got the area of this whole shape as if it was a totally uncut rectangle. So the area for this blank triangle is 6, and the area for this blank triangle is 6. Remember how we said 30 was for the whole thing? Well, it couldn't be 30 because we have a missing chunk. We got 2 triangles that are cut into the shape. So we're going to do 30 minus 6, which is 30 minus 6 is 24. And 24 minus 6 is 18. So our answer for this one should have been 18 units squared. I'm going to circle that, and I should have circled my top answer right here. Let's keep going. And remember, you can always freeze what I'm doing so that you can copy what I'm doing. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's keep going. Last one in part 1 of our review. Find the area of the given figure. Okay, I think what I'm going to do for this one, it looks like I have a triangle there. I'm going to find the area for this whole shape as if it was a rectangle. And then I'm going to find the area of each triangle piece and subtract it out. So my base, if I pretend that this whole shape was a rectangle, base is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Base was 11. Height. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 was my height. So first part, 11 times 8 is 88 units squared. All right, so I'm going to keep that for later. So that's an important piece because now we have to find the area of each triangle piece, right? So because I can erase stuff, I'm just going to kind of erase stuff as we go so that you can see what I'm focusing on. So let's focus on, I don't know why this eraser doesn't work very well. It doesn't like me very much. All right, let's find the area for, well, since that's gone, let's find the area for this rectangle, or I'm sorry, for this triangle over here. I'm going to say that this is my base. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is my base. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is my height. So remember, for triangles, it's like 6 base times height, 6 times 4 divided by 2. When I solve that, I get 24 divided by 2, and 24 divided by 2 is 12. So I'm going to write 12 inside of that triangle. Okay, that was for that one. And actually, I'm going to switch up a color. Let's see, I can pick different colors. Let's do purple for the next one. So if I look for the triangle over here in this corner, my base is 1, 2. Base is 2, and height is 1, 2. So over here, I'm going to say 2 times 2 divided by 2 is 4 divided by 2. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. So guess what? The area over here is 2. Now I'm going to pick, let's do red for this guy. My base is 2, 1, 2. My height, same one in the corner, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 was my height. So base was 2, height was 6 divided by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Let's erase that because that's not very pretty. That's 6. Okay. So I'm going to write 6 inside of there. Let's pick a different color. What do we got? Let's do more colors. Okay, I can do more colors. Okay, let's pick a dark blue. There we go. Okay, so over here for this triangle. Why didn't it? Oh, there we go. Okay. Erase. Okay, let's use our blue. Okay, over here it's 1, 2, base is 2, and height is 2. Oh, just like this one. Looks like there we go. Yeah, that makes sense. So that's going to be 2 because that's 2. And if we notice for that part, we see that 2 times 2 is 4. Don't forget to divide by 2, and that equals 2. Okay, so now we take all our answers, all the areas for these triangles, and we add them up. Okay, so we're going to add up 12, 2, 6, and 2. And that's the area for all these triangles on the side. But remember, we don't want to count them because they're not a part of the shape. So we say 6 plus 2 is 8, 8 plus 2 is 10, 10 plus 2 is 12. So 22 for the triangles, right? Now we're going to go back to this 88. So we're going to say 88 minus 22. Now we took 88 because remember, it's as if this whole thing was uninterrupted and was just a rectangle. But remember, we're not counting all these, like, I'll erase. It's a lot. There's a lot of numbers on here. I see that. And actually, okay. So yeah, that's a lot that I've written on here. So hopefully you can go back and freeze what I did so you can see before I erase it. But now we just have to pretend. We're going to pretend like this whole shape, we didn't do all that, right? Remember, we enclosed this shape inside of a rectangle because that was easy for us to find the area if we just left it, if we turned it into a rectangle. And when you turn it into a rectangle, it's very easy to get the area. We got an area of 88, right? But remember, we don't want these end pieces. We don't want these end triangles. So what we did was we found the area of each of these triangles, but now we have to subtract it from 88. And 88 minus 22 is 66. So your answer was 66 units squared. Hopefully that was helpful.